too much awareness of your bad qualities can like paralyze you, right? You know, sometimes it's good to believe that you deserve good things in life. If you get into a boxing ring with the boxer and he starts pinching your ear and putting his fist in your neck and making you trip and fall, you're not going to go and complain and say, God, how mean you are. You're just an awful person. Because you got in the ring and you're fighting. You have to accept that that's what happens when you're in the ring. Too much awareness of your bad qualities can like paralyze you, right? So, you know, sometimes it's good to believe that you deserve good things in life, that you have skills, that you have promise, that there's hope for the future. It might be built on nothing. It might be totally unrealistic, but it's important to have those beliefs because they can give you energy, they can give you purpose, and they can give you meaning. If we understood everything about ourselves as an animal and our basic drives, we'd probably all kill ourselves, to be honest. So yeah, it's good to lie to some degree and to feel that you're worth something and that you have goals and that you can reach them. I struggled for over half my life, and I'm in my 60s now. So, but physically weak, physically dependent made me understand what a lot of people have to go through when they have no control over their body, over their work, over their future. It's a terrible feeling, and it gave me a higher degree of empathy for them. I had empathy for them, but it wasn't real. It was just like intellectual. Now it was physical. I really understand what it's like to be dependent on others. And it's not a good feeling, and it's sad. And so in that sense, it kind of changed me. And then, you know, you have to think of like, was it destined to happen? What if that wasp had missed me? Because it's like, could have just flown right by. None of this would have happened. But then on the other hand, you know, when I had my stroke, I nearly died. I was, you know, my wife saved my life. I was driving a car here in Los Angeles. You know, I came this close to dying. And it was an insane experience. I mean, I've had an experience that very few people have ever had, which is kind of a near-death experience. And it changes your mind. It plays with your brain. It plays with how you look at the world. It makes you understand what it means to be alive. So right now, I have this very weird-looking bicycle. It's a recumbent bike. It's basically a souped-up tricycle that is very light, and I can go up these big hills. And I'm riding my bike, and everybody's passing me. Even 80-year-old grandmothers are passing me because it's not powerful. And I'm thinking, all these people, they take for granted their bodies. They take for granted that they can walk. They take for granted that they can bicycle. They take everything for granted. They're not aware. And I put myself in their bodies and I go, if I were them, every moment I'd be so happy. I'd be so excited because I could walk. I could do things that I can't do right now. But they don't feel that way. And because what I'm trying to say is people out there, you should feel that way. Don't take for granted the things that you can do right now. Even a simple thing like taking a little walk. You should be looking out at the world. You should be looking at the sky. You should be looking at the people, the cars, and feel, God damn it, I'm alive. It's insane, you know? But everyone takes it for granted. It makes me kind of angry. And it makes me feel like, in some ways, I'm better off with my stroke because I know how flimsy life is and how it can be lost in a second. And you don't know that, and you're wrong, and you're stupid. So maybe there was something gained from the experience. I'm so upset. Sometimes I can't tell you how upset I get, but it has its advantages, its benefits, in that it gives me perspective on life. It gives me an idea. It makes me less afraid of death. I understand what death is like. I feel it. I felt it. I felt it inside of my body. I'm not afraid of it. It was kind of peaceful. So that's good. As I said, it's probably made me in some ways nicer, you know, because I'm dependent on other people. It's forced me to be nicer. So there are things that are good from it, but what was taken away from me is so painful I can't explain to you. It's just so painful that I would never wish it on anyone, because you don't realize what a joy it is to be walking, to be moving. And the other aspect is I'm writing a book. It'll be finished. It'll be out next year on what I call the sublime. You're aware of it because I've talked about it. And I had originally, as I've explained in other podcasts, I originally intended it when I was going to maybe write it 15, 16 years ago or longer, to have all these adventures that I qualify as sublime, like trekking through the Gobi Desert and swimming with dolphins and going to Antarctica. And now I'm writing the book. I can't do anything. All I can do is sit in my goddamn office. I can't even type. I have to handwrite everything. I am so limited. So if I'm writing a book on the sublime, on experiences that take you to another realm, I have to make it so it has nothing to do with money or jetting off to places. It has to do with basic everyday life. What is sublime about the simplest thing in your environment? Because that's all I can suck it out of, So in some ways, it's made the book, I think, better. Well, part of being a human being is all of these conventions that we have to abide by, social conventions about how you're supposed to behave, how you're supposed to be around other people, things you're supposed to say, things you're not supposed to say, work conventions, things you're supposed to do on the job and your career and your future, thinking conventions. These are thoughts that you're supposed to have, that everybody has at this particular moment, where everything is so technological. I could go on and on about it, but everything is like a conventional way of doing. That's what humans are like. Right? And I compare it to a kind of a circle that we all live inside, and it becomes a prison. You're like sick of it. You want new things. You want new thoughts. You want new social relationships. You want something new and different that goes outside that goddamn circle. Right? That's what the sublime is. The sublime is, I go through the chapters of it. It's about being aware of how strange it is to be alive, like what I've been talking about. What a miracle, it's the auto, and I explain in the book, the fact that you and I are sitting here in this room talking is so incredibly unlikely. And I explain why it's so unlikely, that if you think about it, everything in your life is like a dream. It's like you can almost believe that aliens are running a program. It's so weird. Life is so surreal. I talk about your childhood and how incredibly sublime your childhood was and how you can hold on to it and how you can retain that quality. I talk about our relationship to animals and other species and how we can interact with them. Our consciousness can pass through species barriers and how strange that is. I talk about the human brain and how our brains create reality, but there is actually another reality out there that we can experience and is sublime. I talk about love and how love can be sublime. I talk about history and the past, on and on. If you experience just one of those 12 things that I have made around the circle, your life will be that much richer, because with your smartphones, your brains your focus and your minds are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Your focus is shrinking to the size of your phone. Whereas science is expanding our minds to incredible limits, where they're photographing black holes, where they're explaining where the Big Bang came from. So we want to be expanding our consciousness, not shrinking it down. And just one of those 12 things will expand your mind outside of that narrow little circle that we live in, and will give you a feeling that there's so much more to our daily life than we imagine. It's so much stranger, weirder, and more exciting than you realize. And I think it can have a very powerful effect on people. I hope the book has that effect on people. Human nature took 5 years, but not being able to type and not being able to take a walk to clear my head has probably added at least a year to the process. I've always been kind of agnostic. If I experience something and it's real and it's inside of me, I believe in it. But if it's something that I've never experienced, I'm not going to say it doesn't exist, but it's not real to me yet. So I did not grow up, I'm Jewish, but I did not grow up in a family of believing in God so much. It never was really part of my experience. And I I've had the experience that there is something much larger to this world, something transcendent, something much greater than us that connects us all. There is something cosmic. That doesn't necessarily involve some single creator spirit out there. I don't know. I'm agnostic. I don't know to be is the answer. But particularly when I was younger, or when I had my drug experiences, or when I meditate, it's very clear to me that there's something much greater than who we are, than being an individual human. There's some force out there that's immense that we're a part of. And I talk about it in the Sublime book. But I talk about, I have a chapter on ancient religions, pagan religions and paganism, and their relationship to God, and how it was kind of similar to what I'm describing to you now. So it's hard to verbalize my answer there. It's not about that single God figure that I'm worshiping or praying to. It's more like a feeling of something that connects all of us as humans, connects all living things, and connects everything in the universe, that there is some kind of transcendent spirit or energy. I definitely believe in that. So when I first started the book, it was my first book. I'd never written anything like it before. I did a lot of research, and I noticed I didn't have an idea of 48 laws of power. I noticed these patterns in history of things that happened that were kind of universal. And I started out with like 78 of them, something like that. I'd have to go back to my cards. And slowly I whittled it down further and further and further. This isn't completely a law on its own, because it's actually a part of something else. So there isn't anything that, to me, that I haven't covered. Now, obviously, people will say, well, you don't have a chapter about social media. Well, I don't need a chapter on social media, because all of the dynamics in the 48 laws of power you'll find in social media already. So it's not a book about what's going on in the world right now as if I have to change it to make it updated. It's universal. The research that I put into it was every culture around the planet, going back 5,000 years up to the present, every men and women, all different countries. So I know it's going to sound arrogant, but I feel like I covered everything that needs to be covered about power. If somebody wants to come to me and say, Robert, this should be the 49th law of power, and they have, I'm very good at arguing with them and saying, well, actually, it's covered in this. Now, I might be being a bit specious there because it's my interest to say there are only 48 laws. I understand. But I actually truly believe that I kind of have it covered. My whole life has been about people pretending to be something that they're not. And that's why I wrote these books that have now disappeared. That people are playing roles, that they wear a mask, that they're not what they appear to be. And you need to open your eyes to that and see this world as full of actors wearing costumes and wearing masks and pretending to be something that there is what they want to present. And it's not necessarily reality. And when you look at this world full of actors playing these games, you don't get angry, you don't get upset, you don't say, God, I wish everything was different, I wish people would just be who they are. You just enjoy it. It's like you're watching a play, you're watching a movie, and you're seeing people be an actor, and you're seeing people pretend to be this, and it's amusing, and you don't take anything in this world personally. None of it's personal, right? If somebody says something mean to you, it's not about you, it's about themselves and about their own problems. So it's kind of like it's a game. Power is like a game that people are playing. And if you have some distance from it, if you observe the game, it's much more interesting and it's much easier to navigate than if you take everything personally and if you're upset by everything around you. No, people are playing a part. It's a game, and you're just enjoying playing and watching the game and playing it well. There's a famous quote of Marcus Aurelius who said, if you get into a boxing ring with the boxer and he starts pinching your ear and putting his fist in your neck and making you trip and fall, you're not going to go and complain and say, God, how mean you are. You're just an awful person. Because you got in the ring and you're fighting, and you have to accept that that's what happens when you're in the ring. Well, that's what life is. We're in the ring. You can't complain. People are wrestling. They're pushing you down. That's just how it is. You got in the arena, so shut up and don't complain and just play it well.